In today's video, I get to fly the world's largest commercial airliner in Asiana's best seat, which, after they abolished first class, they now sell as business suites. Join me to find out exactly what it's like to fly this huge beast of an aircraft in a fully enclosed private suite. We're going from Seoul to Bangkok, just over 5 hours in luxury, covering 2,278 miles. Enjoy the video. Today's video begins in South Korea's capital, Seoul, and I'm taking the train to the airport today from Seoul Station and using the RX Airport Railway to make my trip. You can find this line underground in Seoul Station, and down the escalator you won't just find the railway, but also a downtown check-in area, something which is less common than it used to be. You can even check in with a low-cost airline with a rude name. But today I'm flying Asiana in business suites. One of the cool things about doing downtown check-in here at Seoul Station is not only do you get to get rid of your bag pretty early, but you also get to do immigration. As soon as your bag's checked, it takes about 7 or 8 minutes in an X-ray machine around the back. You get to go through immigration and straight on the train to the airport. With my boarding pass in hand, it's time to head to Incheon Airport. The train is pretty slow, taking about 45 minutes, but it's still a bit quicker and a lot cheaper than driving. Asiana's former first-class lounge is now the business suite lounge and sits above the concourse. This is a lovely space, with even a few private booths available if you fancy some peace and quiet or to make a private phone call. The lounge isn't huge. There are not many Asiana flights with business suite class, as it's found only on their A380s, but I do love this commanding view of the airport. It's been a humid day in Seoul and I was definitely in need of a shower, and these really do reflect this lounge's former status as a first-class lounge. They're big and well appointed, although I did find one flaw. When I asked the host for the key to the shower, she said, "Well, we don't have much hot water in the shower, is that okay?" And I thought, well, okay, maybe by not much she means it's going to be lukewarm. It's freezing and I really need the hairdryer to warm up now. Whoa! There's no table service for food in this lounge, and the food options are definitely a lot more business class than first class, and there's also a fairly limited selection of alcohol. Also, there's a strange choice of books in the lounge, and they're all fake. What's going on here? I spent most of my time with a cocktail and enjoying the stunning view from this lounge. This is insanely private, isn't it? But before we head off to Bangkok, a quick word about how I booked this, how much it cost, and my tips on snagging the best seat on the 380. Full disclosure, my fare from Seoul to Bangkok in business suites cost 13 million Korean won, about £748 sterling one way. But as you know, airlines can chop and change their schedules, and Asiana are now flying their A380 to the Japanese capital, Tokyo. And there's some good news for you. It's a lot cheaper to fly to Tokyo than Bangkok, so just go on the Asiana website, tell it to give you a flight to Tokyo Narita, and the fares will come up. Be sure that you're selecting the A380 flight. You can find the aircraft operating just under the flight number. Now, while these special cheapest fares are very, very cheap, this won't get you into business suites. You'll need to select the premium fare, the most expensive one, and this will come up as business suite in J class. It's only if you select this option that you'll see the lower deck on the A380 open up with its 3-row X first class business suites. The top deck is chock full of normal business class seats, which look a lot like this on the A380. Some of you will have seen a previous video where I flew the old first class on one of Asiana's old 747-400s, and this didn't require any supplement to sit in. I'm afraid the same isn't true of the A380. They do market it as a different class. And if you're looking to fly the 747, well, I'm sorry to tell you, it's already retired. It sucks, doesn't it? Can you believe it's been nearly 2 years since I last flew on the A380, and finally I'm getting a chance to get face to face with one again. Today's aircraft is 10 years old and has 4 Rolls-Royce Trent 970 engines. It's been with Asiana all of its service life and was fitted with its first class cabin on delivery. While I've got your attention, let me introduce you to something that I never forget to bring with me when I travel. This is the TESSAN 65-watt universal travel adapter, and it's not just any old travel adapter. This adapter is compatible with over 200 countries worldwide and is absolutely the best travel adapter I've come across. Why? Well, it's lightweight, it's really, really sturdy, and it's really flexible too. I am so fed up of getting cheap travel adapters on my travels, usually because my adapter is broken, and this really does solve that problem. It is the most lightweight and sturdiest adapter I've ever owned. It's so useful. A lot of places like airport lounges or aircraft themselves only have one outlet you can use, so having the flexibility this adapter offers is perfect. While I'm away, I've got so much to charge. Look, here's my laptop, my GoPro, my camera battery, and also my Apple Watch. Pretty much everything I need to make the content that you see on this channel. We've got a slider here for the US and Australia, lovely little 2-pin plug there. We've also got, of course, the UK 3-pin plug, and we have our trusty EU plug here, which I'm finding myself using a lot lately. There's a lovely feel to this thing as well. When you just slide it out, there's a lovely click, and it's so sturdy, so well made. Also included along the side are 2 USB-A and 2 USB-C ports. Make sure you pick one of these up. Thanks so much to TESSAN for sponsoring the video, and you can find the link as to where to purchase one in the description text below.
Thank you, 감사합니다.
Thank you. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe. You'll join a community of hundreds of thousands of other Trip Report enthusiasts exploring the world with me. Look at that, just 3 rows. And finally we're off to Bangkok, some more super jumbo action. We're on the A380 in a wonderful, unique seat. I can't wait. Let's head on board.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Hello.
Welcome aboard the 3A.
Perfect, got it. Thank you. There are 12 business suites, fully enclosed with full-height closing doors in the front of the aircraft. I've gone for seat 3A today, which was in fact the last window seat available when I booked. Given the choice, 2A is perhaps a better bet with its full complement of 3 windows, but we're splitting hairs here. Couples might prefer the middle pairs, but if you end up here on your own, there is still a full-height divider for privacy from your neighbour. I've long thought that the Asiana colours that they use for their cabins are pretty staid and boring. I mean, it's just yellow and beige and a bit of brown, and to be honest, it's nowhere near as diverse or as jazzy as you might expect a Korean airline to offer. Champagne's just arrived. I'm really looking forward to this flight. It should be just over 5 hours in the air down to Bangkok today. Wonderful flight ahead of us. It's going to be such a wonderful experience, and of course taking you guys along with me makes it all the more enjoyable for me, so cheers. Here's to a great flight for both of us. That's not bad. This seat may be more than 10 years old, but it's still reasonably competitive. As well as being fully enclosed, it has everything that you'd expect from a modern seat in the 21st century. There are plenty of opportunities to charge your devices, but alas, no USB-C has been installed. The real star of the show for this massive first-class seat is the huge, sturdy table. It really is absolutely enormous. The table also slides forward and back, and if you're just about skinny enough, it slides far forward enough for you to make a quick exit if there are still things on the table. Most people, I think, could squeeze through that gap if they really needed to. All of this said, I am kind of in two minds about this seat. On the one hand, it's great to pay just a small supplement to sit here instead of in regular business class. But on the other hand, I can actually see why Asiana got rid of their first-class product. It just isn't quite as competitive as it would be with the other airlines like Korean, Emirates, Etihad and others, which are still flying hundreds of intercontinental first-class seats every day. One of the reasons I say that is that the seat is not too bad in a still picture, but I can assure you the build quality of these things is not exactly great. Take this sliding door for example. It took me 5 goes to get these sliding doors fully closed because when you try and slide them together, firstly, they're really stiff. They do feel like really old pieces of equipment. And secondly, it's really difficult to actually get them to join in the middle. And yeah, the build quality and the way these things all join up together is just really not what you'd expect, is it? All of the little touches and the build quality of the seats aside, one of the places this aircraft really impresses is the old first-class bathroom, now of course exclusively used by business suites. Look at the size of this thing. It's huge. It might not be the Emirates shower, but it's certainly a lot more opulent than what British Airways, for example, have for their first-class bathrooms. It's huge. Somewhat surprisingly, Asiana's former flagship does not feature any form of Wi-Fi at all, but there is some sort of elementary connectivity, seat to seat and seat to ground, which really I couldn't figure out. But it's not Wi-Fi. For a flight lasting just over 5 hours and comfortably within the confines of mid-haul, the wine and menu list aren't bad. I should point out this menu is the same as regular business class, as is all the onboard service. While we wait for dinner, the very average headphones are handed out and they accompany a lackluster entertainment system. This really is quite outdated, and I'm actually quite shocked at how outdated something from 2013 can feel, and of course on the flip side, just how far customer expectations have come in 2024. On my previous Asiana flight on the 747, I had gone for the Korean bibimbap, which you can see here. So this time I decided to try the Western menu, and it really was much better than I was expecting. The smoked chicken quinoa salad was delicious and accompanied with garlic bread. More tasty, I think, than the bibimbap I'd had with Asiana previously. For the main course, I went for the beef tenderloin steak. Now, I'm quite cynical about steaks on a plane, as they often end up grey and dry, but this was superb, and given some of my experience had been mediocre so far, the food certainly lightened the experience. Following the cheese course, I am sorry to report that Asiana failed my Delta Airlines test of the ice cream. When I eventually got the suite door closed, it was time to stretch out, and this huge seat converts into an equally impressive flat bed. If you value space, the upgrade to suites is probably worth it on this alone. But this flight is only 5 hours long, and we're just about to land in Bangkok. In my opinion, Asiana flattered to deceive on this trip. Now look, I love the novelty of getting a cheap-ish fare to sit on a giant aircraft in a huge seat, but objectively, unless you're ticking this off like I was as an enthusiast, you probably are better off going with another airline. Asiana is just fine, and there is not much else to be said for them apart from that. And in my view, fine isn't quite good enough when you're spending your hard-earned money on a product which is dated and somewhat bland. In conclusion, I did love the novelty of this flight, and I'm still glad I flew it, but I'd probably fly Thai Airways next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.